documentée par les bourreaux eux-mêmes qui, dans une pulsion d'abjection, partagent les vidéos insoutenables de leurs crimes sur les réseaux sociaux. Safari humain, exécution sommaire au milieu des hurlements fanatisés des janjaouides. C'est un véritable génocide par balle auquel nous assistons effarés. 150 000 morts depuis avril 2023, 16 millions de déplacés et de réfugiés, la famine partout et l'horreur au quotidien. Il y a quelques jours, 500 innocents massacrés dans la maternité d'El Fasher. Aujourd'hui, j'apprends que les miliciens des FSR exigent des réfugiés du camp de Gorom que j'avais rencontré au Soudan il y a 2 ans et à qui je pense chaque jour. Des rançons de la honte pour libérer leurs proches retenus en otage. Les condamnations de la France et de l'ONU ne suffisent plus, Monsieur le Ministre. Le silence des chancelleries européennes face aux Émirats arabes unis qui arment le bras des tueurs n'est plus acceptable. L'indifférence non plus, qui m'interroge sans cesse, l'indifférence des médias et des opinions publiques que j'observe impuissants depuis le début de la guerre. Chaque vie compte. Négliger les morts d'Afrique, c'est nier notre humanité commune. Les Soudanais nous demandent de faire vivre en acte l'exorcion de Desmond Tutu. S'il vous plaît, la seule chose que nous vous demandons, c'est de reconnaître que nous sommes humains, nous aussi. Alors, Monsieur le Ministre, je vous demande de leur dire ce que vous pouvez faire pour garantir la sécurité des civils ayant fui à Tawila pour échapper au massacre d'El Fasher, pour faciliter la mise en place de corridors humanitaires afin de permettre la circulation de l'aide humanitaire, pour convaincre nos partenaires et singulièrement les Émirats arabes unis d'agir pour que cessent les livraisons d'armes, pour que cessent enfin les combats et s'ouvre un chemin pour la paix. Je vous remercie.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le député.
What you're about to see is not even 1% of what's out there on social media.
The UAE is invading Sudan.
Militia called the RSF that is armed by the UAE.
United Arab Emirates is neither united nor Arab, considering they are just an arm of the Zionist entity.
And this mass slaughter has the full support of not only the UAE, who actively funds and arms the RSF.
Too many people excuse the UAE and the genocide that they're committing in Sudan.
UAE is killing people in Sudan.
UAE is starving of fashion.
We thought you're civilized. Turns out you're demonized. But who is exposing this evil, corrupt world order? Oh yes. Allah al-khabith min al-tayyib. First he exposes, then he disposes. Our hearts bleed for our brothers and sisters under oppression and genocide, but our faith is smiling through, knowing how close is the end of you. God's plan, victorious.
There's a genocide taking place in Sudan right now, and Trump and the Republicans aren't doing enough to stop. It's intensified thanks to countries like the UAE that continue to send weapons to the RSF. There appears to be no end in sight to the violence and suffering unless Congress acts. I've introduced legislation that will sanction those responsible for the atrocities in Sudan. It will halt American arms sales to countries fueling the conflict and surge humanitarian aid. Republicans need to put my bill up for a vote now. As the lead Democrat of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, I've had and I will continue to block all major defense sales to the UAE and any other country that continues to fuel the violence.
I'm speaking as a Somali, a country and a people who have suffered for over 30 years exactly because of the same conditions in the Sudan and because the African Union and the African people did not come to the help of my own people. So I urge everyone here to support the people of Sudan. Number 2, creating peace is a political project. To be told that politics and peace have nothing to do with one another is an illusion. There are 2 kinds of politics. A politics that constructs peace, constructs welfare, constructs development, and brings people together. This is what we are all about in this chamber. And then there is politics that divides people. But to say that politics has no place in peacemaking and tolerance is an illusion that the Pan-African Parliament should not accept. Second, the United Arab Emirates as a country, not as an ambassador or individuals, but as a country, is comparable, let me repeat that, is comparable to those who supported apartheid and those who supported Ian Smith in what was previously Rhodesia. So we should deal with that country exactly as we dealt with supporters of apartheid and supporters of Ian Smith. And therefore we should sanction them. We should take them out of the African Union. We should not invite into our forums until they come to their senses. Finally, here's my recommendation, very briefly. Don't invite criminal regimes to our midst, to our forums. Second, sanction the UAE from all of African Union forums. Thank you, sir.
Like most genocides, the West is not only complicit, but an active driver of the conflict. Sudan is burning. Bloodstains seen from space. Hundreds of mothers murdered in a maternity hospital, and thousands of civilians killed and displaced as RSF paramilitary forces backed by the UAE stormed the city of Al Fasher last week. 20 years on from the last genocide in Darfur, and our so-called leaders have again failed an entire generation, allowing the UAE to fuel a genocide so they can continue to steal Darfur's significant gold deposits. We were warned. The nightmare we are seeing was repeatedly predicted by Sudanese advocates on the ground who begged for urgent action from the international community to prevent a massacre. But for Western powers, maintaining good relations with the UAE and their stranglehold over Sudan's resources has taken priority over the people of Darfur. Like most genocides, the West is not only complicit, but an active driver of the conflict. We know the UAE smuggles weapons manufactured in the West into Sudan that ends up arming genocide. While our own government, rather than cutting trade ties and imposing sanctions on the UAE for funding and arming a genocide, another genocide, instead celebrates their booming trade relationship. This is indefensible. This Labor government must immediately cut trade ties and impose sanctions on the UAE, urgently open humanitarian pathways for refugees, and provide support and assistance to our Sudanese community. I stand with the people of Sudan. Our struggle is one struggle and their fate is our own.
Thank you.
Donald Trump, let's say, calls you up today and says, hey, I'm trying to win a Nobel Prize. How do I stop what's happening in Sudan? What would you tell him to do?
Easy. Call Abu Dhabi, call Mohammed bin Zayed, and tell him that U.S. intelligence services, Defense Intelligence Agency, and the Bureau of Intelligence and Research at State have intelligence assessments that clearly show, according to the Wall Street Journal, that you've been arming the RSF, including with weapon systems identified by Yale and the intelligence community as being used in Al Fasher. And that if he doesn't stop, then there's going to be U.S. sanctions. We will no longer be able to have Americans buy duty-free at Terminal 1 at Dubai. That's what scares the hell out of the UAE. And the moment the United States or the United Kingdom says that, it's going to cause the UAE to jump. But up until now, they've been testing their business model, and they'll pause, and they realize that there's been no consequences. They don't think that's going to change.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Monsieur le Ministre de l'Europe et des Affaires étrangères, à nouveau je veux faire entendre dans cet hémicycle les cris des Soudanaises qu'on viole, des civils qu'on massacre, des communautés du Darfour victimes d'un nettoyage ethnique qui s'intensifie depuis la chute d'El Fasher. L'horreur est documentée par les bourreaux eux-mêmes qui, dans une pulsion d'abjection, partagent les vidéos insoutenables de leurs crimes sur les réseaux sociaux. Safari humain, exécution sommaire au milieu des hurlements fanatisés des Janjaouides. C'est un véritable génocide par balle auquel nous assistons effarés. 150 000 morts depuis avril 2023, 16 millions de déplacés et de réfugiés, la famine partout et l'horreur au quotidien. Il y a quelques jours, 500 innocents massacrés dans la maternité d'El Fasher. Aujourd'hui, j'apprends que les miliciens des FSR exigent des réfugiés du camp de Gorom que j'avais rencontrés au Soudan il y a 2 ans et à qui je pense chaque jour. Des rançons de la honte pour libérer leurs proches, retenus en otage. Les condamnations de la France et de l'ONU ne suffisent plus, Monsieur le Ministre. Le silence des chancelleries européennes face aux Émirats arabes unis qui arment le bras des tueurs n'est plus acceptable. L'indifférence non plus, qui m'interroge sans cesse, l'indifférence des médias et des opinions publiques que j'observe impuissants depuis le début de la guerre. Chaque vie compte. Négliger les morts d'Afrique, c'est nier notre humanité commune. Les Soudanais nous demandent de faire vivre en acte l'exorcion de Desmond Tutu, s'il vous plaît. La seule chose que nous vous demandons, c'est de reconnaître que nous sommes humains, nous aussi. Alors, Monsieur le Ministre, je vous demande de leur dire ce que vous pouvez faire pour garantir la sécurité des civils ayant fui à Tawila pour échapper au massacre d'El Fasher, pour faciliter la mise en place de corridors humanitaires afin de permettre la circulation de l'aide humanitaire, pour convaincre nos partenaires et singulièrement les Émirats arabes unis d'agir pour que cessent les livraisons d'armes, pour que cessent enfin les combats et s'ouvre un chemin pour la paix. Je vous remercie.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le député.